How's it going, guys? It's going to be a very quick episode of Spark Notes. Unfortunately, I just have too much going on this week. I got hit with a number of projects. I don't have the time to go through all the requests this week, but I wanted to take the chance to go through a very interesting topic, and that is the different classifications of e-bikes and my opinions on all that. So, if you follow us on Instagram, you will have seen a recent video I put out saying the state of Connecticut is reviewing the e-bike laws, as well as scooter laws and moped laws and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm going to be speaking on Monday about that. The proposed bill overviews a ton of different things that raise some red flags to me. Things like removing class 3 e-bikes from the equation in Connecticut, limiting the power of electric mopeds, and a handful of other things. And when you look at these documents and you look at the communication on this topic around the country, I have been noticing one theme that is consistent, and that is a severe overcomplication of classes and of vehicle types. My theory on this is, you have a lot of different players in this industry, and there are people trying to get exceptions to allow their vehicles to be used in certain areas, and then to make it harder for other vehicles to be used in certain areas. And it is leading to this whole scenario where there is too many vehicle classes. And another interesting topic that is related to all of this is my personal opinion that the idea of different rules for electric vehicles versus gas vehicles is becoming sort of out of date. And one thing you are going to start to notice about Spark is our shying away from the fact that these are electric bikes or electric mopeds, and we are just going to be focusing on the fact that they are just mopeds. There is no longer an importance here to distinguish them as an electric vehicle. You do not see Tesla categorizing their advertisements saying the Tesla electric car. It is just a Tesla, it is just a car. And the laws surrounding those cars are the same as regular cars. And so, what I want to see developed is a system that incorporates gas and electric vehicles together rather than having all these separate categories. Something that I would like you to consider is the idea of class 1, class 2, and class 3 e bikes being similar to the idea of the fact that we have pickup trucks, sedans, vans, and SUVs. These are all the same type of product, right? But they have different categories. Now, there aren't different rules for pickup trucks and SUVs. They all are within automobiles. And it is up to the consumer to decide which type of automobile they would like to ride. Similarly, I feel like there should be one set of rules for just electric bikes and allow the consumer to decide if they want to ride a class 1, class 2, or class 3 e-bike. And the language for those classes should not be included in any type of laws. It should just be classified as an electric bike. And the funny thing is, if you look at the history of electric bikes in this country, that is how it was. It was previously set up as a 750-watt motor, and it was not until years later that People for Bikes decided to make a three-class system. And I'm not sure that they ever intended for that system to be pulled into the federal laws and into the state level laws, but it has just gotten so complicated now. So, what ideas do I have to solve this? My personal belief is that two and three wheel vehicles should be categorized into four different categories: micro vehicles, light vehicles, standard vehicles, and off road and personal usage vehicles. Now, those names don't have to be used, they're just what I use to communicate these ideas, but this system looks something like this. The first class is micro vehicles, and this is anything that uses a 750-watt motor and goes a maximum of 28 miles an hour. And I'd like to remind you that 750 watts is equal to about 1 horsepower. That's where that number came from. It was also created by an approximation about what a standard athlete could output on a bicycle. It's kind of a funny crossover, but that's about how that number was created. So, 28 miles an hour, 750 watts, and that includes anything that does not have DOT approved lighting. And so that is e-bikes, that is a scooter, that is lower level of PEVs, that is a skateboard, anything that does not have DOT approved lighting and is going to be riding on the side of the road. So it is not going to be allowed to be going down the main line because you don't have horns, mirrors, headlights, turn signals, brake lights. It's just not there. This is a very small vehicle and it is meant to be on the side or on commuter pathways. And that would include class one, class two, and class three e-bikes. They would all be within that category, and you would allow the consumer to decide whether they feel comfortable riding a class one, class two, or class three e-bike, just like we let people decide whether they want to drive a pickup truck, an SUV, or a sports car. There is no different ruling for a Ferrari than your Honda Civic. The next category is a light vehicle, and that is going to be anything that is 750 watts to about 4,000 watts. It actually comes out to about 3.7, 3.8 kilowatts, but that number is from 5 horsepower because the federal guidelines for motor driven cycles are 5 horsepower. Now, this is going to make it so that there is no 50 cc gas rule. That doesn't matter anymore. It is the horsepower because while there are plenty of people making very high powered e bikes, there are also people on the same end making 50 cc gas bikes that are really pushing out a lot more power, and those bikes are going faster than 30 miles an hour. So the idea is to follow the federal guideline and make 5 horsepower the maximum, 1 horsepower the minimum, allow the vehicle to travel no faster than 35 miles an hour, not 30. 35 is what we experience as a bare minimum around here to stay safe on these 25-mile-per-hour roads. And the vehicle will have to have all DOT approved lighting. So it will have your headlights, your turn signals, your brake lights, your mirrors, and everything that is going to allow that thing to be safe on the road. It will not be allowed to go on other bike paths because if you are going to be traveling in a higher speed vehicle, you no longer need the safety of those bike paths and you can keep up with normal traffic. So this would include vehicles like the bikes that we build, so the Brute and the Javelin, and it would include other higher speed vehicles made by companies like Yamaha and Honda and all the other guys. It would include other e-bikes like the Onyx, right? So everybody within this realm of sub 5 horsepower. My controversial take is I believe that there should be some form of very simple registration. I don't think you should have to go to the DMV, but I do think that you should have to take the VIN of your vehicle and go on to the DMV website and register that VIN and scan your driver's license and pay about a $20 fee to get a plate that you can put on your vehicle. And the reason for this is to ensure that the vehicles that are being made to travel at these high speeds are built with the equipment and the safety features they need. Because in my experience, we deal with a lot of people who have e-bikes that are going 40 to 50 miles an hour, and they are using really low quality e-bike brakes and forks, and that is where a lot of the danger is happening. So my feeling is if you want to be going this fast, the vehicles should really begin to be designed with proper brakes. And this would push the industry for these companies who are making higher powered e-bikes to actually use good components, to not shave off $10 by just throwing on a crappy brake. Actually use good components and protect their customers. The reason this is helpful is because if you are going down the road safely 35 miles an hour and you have a little plate on there that just says it is registered, it is fine, the cops are never going to bother you. But if we get into the realm of requiring insurance and taxes and all this other kind of stuff on that vehicle class, it is going to create too much complication. So I believe it should be a very low cost registration fee simply to get you a plate. Above the 5 horsepower limit is a motorcycle. So anything with 2 or 3 wheels that is more than 5 horsepower and can go above 35 miles an hour should be a motorcycle. That's just how it is, guys. This is not new. And for everybody that's saying, oh, my e bike can go so much faster than that, your e bike is illegal and it's already been illegal forever. Motorcycles in this country, there is not a single state where the vehicle can go over 35 miles an hour and be legal to go on the road unless it's a motorcycle. It's not. It's not an opinion. That is just the way it is. And then the fourth category is a bit of a controversial one, and I know it will upset people, but this is nothing different than the way it is currently set up. And the fourth category is that off-road personal use vehicle. And so that would include things like ATVs and dirt bikes. And what it boils down to, guys, is the people who are riding the electric dirt bikes on the road without any lighting, any safety features, are a huge risk. And if I'm going to be honest with you, when I speak to these groups, I speak to the police, I speak to the politicians, the electric dirt bikes are what is raising all of this concern. They are tired of wheelie culture. They are tired of people modifying their bikes to go 70 miles an hour and be on the road without any safety features. This is not my opinion. I'm not trying to connect my personal feelings on what I think about any of that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you that this is what they're upset about. Unless the manufacturers can address it, we're going to see laws getting tighter and tighter and tighter and affecting this whole community to the point where they're only going to allow class 1 e-bikes on these roads. And it's better for us to realize that we need to update these designs to make them safer for people, and we need to stop riding illegal vehicles on the roads. We can then begin saving the industry and preventing it from completely collapsing, because it wouldn't be hard for a politician to just say, we're done with it and we are shutting this whole thing down. And I really don't want to see that. So to sum it up again, we have a class that is 750 watts and under, and a maximum of 28 miles an hour. That is e-bikes, that is push scooters, that is everything that does not have lighting and safety features that would make it good to be in the road with traffic. We then have the second category, which is 1 horsepower to 5 horsepower, which is 750 watts to about 4,000 watts, and maximum of 35 miles an hour. And that is everything like the bikes that we build and a bunch of other electric mopeds and gas mopeds and gas scooters and anything that is also going to have DOT approved lighting and is safe to ride in the middle of the road with traffic. And for the politicians that are saying, well, you really only need about a 1,500 watt motor to get to that 30 to 35 mile per hour space. That is true. You only need about that much power to get to that speed, but it's going to take you about 7 to 10 seconds to get up to that speed. And that is a really, really long time when you were trying to merge into traffic. And so the 5 horsepower isn't there to make the bike go 70 miles an hour. It is there to allow your vehicle to get up to speed fast enough. Merging into traffic and getting away from dangerous positions is the most important aspect to address here. It is the acceleration in combination of high speed that matters for safety. The next class is motorcycles, and then the last class is off-road and personal use vehicles, electric dirt bikes, regular dirt bikes, ATVs, electric ATVs, and everything else that doesn't have DOT approved lighting to make it safe to ride in the middle of the road. That's my thought on this. I have had the idea of doing this 4-tier system for a long time now. It's something that I would love your opinion on. I would love to know what you think about the different speeds, about the different power classes. What else could we do to change that? Because I am going to start speaking to politicians. And on Monday, I'm already making a mark to say 1,500 watts on a moped is nothing. We need to bump this up to at least 4 kilowatts. That's already on my table. I'm also talking about the fact that a 28 mile per hour e-bike is necessary for the safety when you are commuting. So that's today's topic, guys. Let me know what you think and wish me luck on Monday.